Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Tuesday, August 12th, Kyle's chaos, Audra scrambles, Phyllis's confession. Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Tuesday, August 12, 2025. Fans can expect Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, to deal with chaos. Meanwhile, Audra Charles, Zulia Silver, scrambles to cover up her true actions with Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Make sure to check out our weekly Y&R spoilers, here. Claire Grace Newman's jealousy. Once Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, sees Audra with her lips planted on Kyle, she will erupt in a jealous rage. Once the blonde interrupts the smooching pair, she will demand answers. This comes right after Claire's concerning talk with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, in which she wondered who to believe, Kyle or Audra. Read more. Find out what happened on the last episode of Y&R. Claire Grace Newman's jealousy is quietly becoming one of the most combustible forces in Genoa City, threatening not only her personal relationships but also the delicate balance of power in the Newman family. What began as subtle insecurity is now boiling over into dangerous territory, and the people closest to her are starting to see cracks in her carefully composed demeanor. Claire has been trying for months to secure her place within the Newman clan, hoping to prove to Victor, Nikki, and the rest of the family that she is worthy of their trust after her rocky past. She has been diligent, thoughtful, and eager to participate in family business matters, but behind closed doors her emotions are far more complicated. The issue is not that Claire doesn't love her family, she does, but she cannot help but feel overshadowed by those around her, particularly when it comes to her place in the Newman legacy and her relationships with certain key figures. The turning point seems to have come when Claire noticed subtle shifts in the way others were receiving her. She was included in fewer private conversations, certain meetings went ahead without her knowledge, and she began to suspect that someone, perhaps intentionally, was undermining her credibility. The prime source of her jealousy, however, appears to be linked to another woman who has quickly earned the approval and admiration of people Claire is desperate to impress. This woman's easy charm, business savvy, and natural rapport with the Newmans have ignited Claire's insecurities, making her feel like an outsider despite all her efforts to fit in. That feeling of being second best is something Claire has fought her entire life, and it is starting to reawaken old wounds. In recent weeks, Claire's behavior has grown more possessive and reactionary. She bristles when others praise her perceived rival, interrupts conversations to redirect attention back to herself, and appears on edge whenever the other woman is in the room. Friends who know her best say this is unlike the calm and collected Claire they're used to seeing, which is causing even more speculation about what's really going on beneath the surface. There are whispers that Claire may take steps to protect her position in ways that could backfire spectacularly. If she feels threatened enough, some believe she could resort to manipulative tactics, spinning situations to make her rival look bad, or subtly sowing seeds of doubt in the minds of the people she wants on her side. In Genoa City, such moves rarely go unnoticed, and Claire risks alienating exactly the people she is trying to impress. Making matters more complicated, Claire's jealousy is not confined to family or business circles, it appears to be spilling into her romantic life as well. There have been hints that she fears losing the attention and affection of a man who has been a stabilizing force for her. If she believes he is being drawn towards someone else, her protective instincts could quickly turn into an all-out campaign to keep him close, no matter the cost. This mix of professional ambition and personal vulnerability is creating a volatile cocktail that could have major fallout. Victor Newman, who prides himself on reading people well, may already be sensing trouble. While he has been publicly supportive of Claire, the patriarch is known for acting decisively when he perceives a threat to the family's unity or reputation. If Claire's jealousy starts to impact Newman Enterprises or cause public drama, Victor could step in, whether to rein her in or to test her loyalty under pressure. Nikki Newman, meanwhile, might approach the situation more delicately, trying to guide Claire away from destructive choices. However, Nikki has also been known to draw hard boundaries, and if she feels Claire's behavior is hurting the family, she will not hesitate to intervene. The wild card in all this is how the rest of Genoa City will react if Claire's jealous streak becomes public knowledge. Rivals of the Newman family could seize the opportunity to exploit the internal tension, turning Claire's insecurities into ammunition against the powerful dynasty. Allies, on the other hand, might rally around her if they believe she's being unfairly pushed aside. The biggest risk for Claire is that her jealousy could lead her to make decisions she cannot undo, choices that could sabotage her hard-earned progress and cement her reputation as unstable or untrustworthy. In a town where perception often matters more than truth, even a single misstep can be magnified beyond repair. For now, Claire appears to be walking a tightrope, trying to hide her growing resentment while still fighting to be seen as indispensable. But the more she tries to suppress these feelings, the more they seem to influence her actions. Every encounter, every meeting, every whispered conversation feels like a test she cannot afford to fail. The coming weeks could determine whether Claire transforms her jealousy into motivation, proving herself through genuine achievement, or allows it to consume her, dragging her back into the kind of turmoil she's been trying to escape. In Genoa City, ambition is often a double-edged sword, and for Claire Grace Newman, the line between fighting for her place and destroying her chances may be thinner than she realizes. If she cannot control her emotions, she risks not only losing her standing with the Newmans but also unraveling the fragile relationships that have kept her grounded. And in a family where loyalty is everything, one wrong move could mean exile from the very life she's worked so hard to build. The real question now is whether Claire will recognize the danger before it's too late, or whether her jealousy will become the spark that sets off the next big Newman family firestorm. Kyle Abbott's chaos. Once Claire enters the scene, Kyle will likely shove Audra away. The young man will insist that Audra is up to her old tricks again, and he didn't initiate or ask for it. What is this? As for Audra, she would just rub it in Claire's face that Kyle wants her. I could see Claire claiming to believe Kyle publicly, but privately, she could wonder if Audra is telling the truth. Claire does take some kind of action, but not against Kyle. The blonde takes matters into her own hands. Kyle Abbott's life in Genoa City has spiraled into a whirlwind of chaos, with personal and professional battles converging into a storm that shows no signs of slowing down. Once seen as the polished and composed heir to the Abbott legacy, Kyle now finds himself in a tangle of conflicting loyalties, questionable decisions, and emotional landmines that threaten to unravel everything he's worked to build. His recent actions have left friends, family, and business allies wondering whether the pressure has finally pushed him past his breaking point. The turmoil began brewing when Kyle's personal relationship started colliding with his responsibilities at Jabot. What should have been a period of stability for the cosmetics giant has instead been marred by behind-the-scenes disputes, strategic disagreements, and power struggles. Kyle has been caught in the middle, trying to balance the demands of his father Jack Abbott with his own vision for the company, all while dealing with the relentless ambitions of those who see his position as vulnerable. The strain intensified when whispers began circulating about Kyle's extracurricular entanglements. His relationship with Audra Charles has drawn scrutiny, not just because of her reputation but because of the timing, coming on the heels of his split from Summer Newman. Some in Genoa City view the pairing as a rebound driven more by impulse than genuine connection, while others suspect Audra may be playing her own game, using Kyle's trust to gain leverage in both business and personal spheres. As these rumors swirl, Kyle's decision-making has become increasingly erratic. He's taken risks at Jabot that some board members call reckless, pushing through deals without consensus and clashing openly with his father over long-term strategy. The tension between Jack and Kyle has escalated to the point where insiders fear a full-scale rift could be imminent, something that would send shockwaves through the Abbott family and the company they've fought to protect. The chaos doesn't stop at the office. Kyle's co-parenting relationship with Summer has also hit turbulent waters, with disagreements over their son Harrison's upbringing spilling into public view. Both have accused the other of putting personal pride ahead of Harrison's well-being, and while they've tried to maintain civility for their son's sake, the underlying resentment is palpable. Those close to the situation say that Harrison is picking up on the tension, and Kyle is beginning to realize just how high the stakes are if they cannot find a way to co-parent without constant friction. Adding to his troubles, Kyle has been pulled into Newman family drama more than once in recent months, whether by choice or circumstance. Aligning too closely with one branch of the Newman clan risks alienating another, and Kyle's tendency to make bold moves without fully considering the political fallout is painting him into a dangerous corner. It's a pattern that many see as a direct result of his mounting frustration, acting first, explaining later, and dealing with consequences on the fly. Friends who have known Kyle for years say they've never seen him so reactive. Normally calculated and composed, he's now quick to anger and unwilling to back down, even when compromise might be the smarter play. This new side of Kyle is making some uneasy, particularly those who rely on his judgment in high-stakes situations. The fear is that one impulsive decision could cause irreparable damage, whether to Jabot's reputation, his standing in the Abbott family, or his relationships with the powerful families of Genoa City. Even in his personal life, Kyle's chaos is spreading. His entanglement with Audra has not only stirred gossip but also drawn the attention of rivals who see the situation as an opportunity to exploit his vulnerability. If Audra's intentions aren't as pure as Kyle hopes, he could be setting himself up for a betrayal that would hit both his heart and his professional credibility. The danger is compounded by the fact that Kyle seems unwilling, or unable, to step back and take a clear-eyed view of the situation. Jack Abbott has tried to rein in his son, offering both guidance and stern warnings, but Kyle's growing sense of independence may be overriding his father's counsel. In Kyle's mind, this might be his moment to prove himself as more than just Jack's son, to step out from his father's shadow and make his own mark. The problem is, in trying so hard to control his own destiny, Kyle may be creating more instability than he can manage. The coming weeks could be pivotal in determining whether he can regain control of the narrative. If Kyle can channel his energy into strategic wins at Jabot, repair his co-parenting relationship with Summer, and set firmer boundaries in his personal life, he might emerge from this period stronger and more respected. But if the current pattern continues, burned bridges, hasty alliances, and high-risk moves, his chaos could turn into a full-blown crisis. Genoa City has seen many heirs to family empires falter under the weight of expectation, and Kyle now finds himself at that very crossroads. His choices will either solidify his place as a leader in the Abbott legacy or mark the beginning of a steep fall from grace. In a town where reputations can be destroyed in a single headline, Kyle's next steps will be watched closely, not just by his family and business partners, but by those eager to take advantage of any stumble. The question now is whether Kyle Abbott can reign in the storm he's created, or whether the chaos will consume him entirely, leaving Genoa City with one less golden boy and one more cautionary tale. Audra Charles scrambles. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, August 12 reveal that Audra will scramble to cover up with Nate. It sounds like Claire taking matters into her own hands could mean telling Nate about Audra's claims. That will force Audra to do some scrambling to cover up the truth. How she will do this convincingly, I'm not sure. Remember, Nate was really kind to both Claire and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, after Cole Howard's, Eddie Peck, death. So, if Audra claims that Claire is lying, then Nate will wonder what the purpose would be. It could have him wondering why Audra is acting so oddly. Audra Charles is scrambling in Genoa City, and her usually sharp, calculated approach is beginning to show cracks as the walls close in around her. Known for her cunning business instincts and her ability to play both sides without getting caught, Audra has thrived in the high-stakes corporate and personal games that define life among the city's power players. But recent developments have shifted the ground beneath her feet, forcing her into reactive mode, a dangerous position for someone who prides herself on always being 2 moves ahead. The trouble began when several of her overlapping schemes started colliding, leaving little room for her usual clean, surgical maneuvering. At Newman Media, whispers have begun about her decision-making, with some insiders accusing her of prioritizing personal gain over the company's long-term health. This is no small problem, as Victor Newman himself is known to have little tolerance for executives who jeopardize his empire. The timing could not be worse, as she is also juggling complicated relationships that blur the line between professional and personal. Her connection with Kyle Abbott has been both a source of leverage and a point of vulnerability. While their chemistry has been undeniable, their relationship has been watched closely by people with the power to make or break them both. The Abbott family, wary of anyone who might distract or destabilize Kyle, has kept Audra under a microscope, ready to pounce on any misstep. This scrutiny intensified when it became clear that her involvement with Kyle could be seen as part of a larger pattern, a reputation for attaching herself to men with influence and using those relationships to advance her position. Though Audra insists her feelings for Kyle are genuine, the optics are working against her, especially in a city where gossip spreads faster than truth. Complicating matters further, she's also been pulled into dangerous corporate rivalries. Her loyalty to Newman Media is under question, with some suspecting she may be feeding information to competitors or playing both sides to ensure she always lands on her feet no matter which company comes out on top. These accusations, whether founded or not, are eroding trust in her leadership, and Audra knows that in a place like Genoa City, perception is as lethal as proof. Victor's daughter Victoria Newman has been especially skeptical of Audra's intentions, seeing her as a potential liability to the family's business empire. While Victoria can play the game as ruthlessly as anyone, she's known for cutting loose anyone she deems untrustworthy. If Audra cannot find a way to win Victoria over, or at least neutralize her suspicion, she could find herself frozen out of Newman Media altogether. The clock is ticking, and Audra feels the pressure. She's begun working overtime to manage her image, holding private meetings, repairing relationships, and making strategic public appearances designed to showcase her loyalty to Newman Media and its leadership. But the more she scrambles to control the narrative, the more some people interpret her actions as signs of desperation. Her biggest challenge, however, may be that her personal ambitions are at odds with the need for stability. Audra has always thrived on taking risks, reading situations in real time, and adjusting her strategy to gain the upper hand. Yet now, those instincts could lead her into reckless territory. If she pushes too hard, makes too bold a move, or underestimates the wrong opponent, she could be setting herself up for a fall that even her quick thinking can't prevent. Adding to the chaos is the fact that enemies she thought she had neutralized are beginning to resurface. Genoa City's power players have long memories, and there are plenty who would relish the chance to see Audra exposed or humiliated. Whether it's a business rival looking to poach her position, a former ally turned adversary, or someone from her past eager for revenge, these threats are circling, and she cannot afford to let her guard down for even a moment. Her relationship with Kyle is also hitting turbulence at the worst possible time. Tensions between them are starting to show, as Kyle grapples with his own set of crises involving Jabot, his father Jack, and his ex-wife Summer. Audra, who once saw their connection as a source of strength, is now realizing it may be more of a liability than an asset. If Kyle's chaos spills over into her life, it could derail the careful damage control she's been attempting. In the midst of all this, Audra is still trying to position herself for future power. She knows that in Genoa City, survival is about staying relevant and indispensable. That means securing allies, building influence, and maintaining a public image that suggests confidence even when she's scrambling behind the scenes. The next few weeks will be critical for her. Either she will manage to pull off a calculated recovery that reaffirms her place among the city's elite, or she will find herself outmaneuvered by those who smell blood in the water. If she can pull through, it will be a testament to her resilience and adaptability. But if she falters, her fall could be spectacular, with her name becoming another cautionary tale whispered through the boardrooms and cocktail parties of Genoa City. Right now, Audra Charles is fighting on multiple fronts, trying to keep her rivals at bay while preventing the people closest to her from turning into threats. She's walking a razor-thin line between maintaining control and losing everything. In a city where power shifts with every conversation and betrayal is just another move in the game, one thing is clear: if Audra can't regain her footing soon, her scramble will turn into a freefall, and Genoa City sharks will be ready to devour what's left. Phyllis Summers confesses. Over with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, she makes a confession. The redhead tells Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Graziadei, about her partnership with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. What is this? While Phyllis is ready to go full steam ahead, Daniel could sense trouble. Despite the man's insistence, Phyllis is hard-headed. Once she decides to do something, there is no stopping her. Read this: The Young and the Restless spoilers, Lily takes major risk, Kane's plans are delusional? Phyllis Summers has never been one to hold back, but her latest confession in Genoa City is shaking the foundation of relationships, alliances, and trust in ways that could have lasting consequences. Known for her fiery personality, sharp wit, and determination to control her own narrative, Phyllis has walked a fine line between bold truth-telling and calculated manipulation for years. But this time, her decision to speak out may be less about strategy and more about a desperate need to unburden herself from the weight of a secret that's been eating away at her. The revelation did not come in the form of a carefully crafted press statement or a quiet, private disclosure. Instead, it happened in classic Phyllis style: emotional, raw, and impossible to ignore. Those who witnessed it say she seemed torn between relief and dread, knowing that once the words left her mouth, there would be no going back. The confession, insiders say, is tied to recent events that have kept her at the center of Genoa City drama. She has been entangled in overlapping schemes involving Newman and Abbott family members, her complicated relationships with her children, and the lingering shadow of past mistakes she's never fully escaped. Whatever she revealed, it touches on multiple players and has the potential to redraw the lines of loyalty in town. Early speculation suggests the confession may involve her role in a business deal gone wrong, one that had been quietly covered up to protect reputations and financial interests. If true, this would explain the tension between Phyllis and certain high-powered figures, as well as the sudden chill in some of her closest relationships. Jack Abbott, in particular, is rumored to have been blindsided. While he has a long history of clashing and reconciling with Phyllis, betrayal, real or perceived, has always been their most dangerous fault line. If Jack feels she kept him in the dark about something that directly impacted him or his company, the fallout could be severe, potentially undoing any progress they've made toward repairing their relationship. The confession also threatens to disrupt Phyllis's standing with her children, Summer and Daniel. Both have stood by her through turbulent times, but they have also been vocal about wanting her to make better choices and avoid drama. If they see this latest revelation as yet another example of Phyllis creating chaos, it could strain their family bond in ways that won't be easily mended. The emotional impact on Phyllis herself should not be underestimated. For someone who thrives on control, admitting to a misstep, or worse, a deliberate act of deception, cuts deep. Those close to her say she has been oscillating between moments of intense vulnerability and bursts of defiance, as if trying to decide whether to double down on her actions or throw herself at the mercy of those she's hurt. Her confession has also caught the attention of Victor Newman, a man who values loyalty above all else and has no patience for those who threaten his family or business. If Phyllis's revelation intersects with Newman interests in any way, Victor will not hesitate to protect his own, even if it means making an example out of her. On the other hand, Victor has been known to exploit people's weaknesses to his advantage. If he sees an opportunity in Phyllis's vulnerability, he might offer his protection, but at a cost. The ripple effects of her confession are spreading fast, with rivals already sniffing around for ways to use it against her. In Genoa City, information is power, and secrets, once exposed, become weapons. Phyllis now faces the possibility that those who once merely disliked her will actively work to take her down, seizing on her moment of weakness to settle old scores. What remains unclear is whether Phyllis confessed because she truly wanted to set things right or because she realized someone else was about to expose her. The difference matters, not only in how the people around her will respond but also in whether she can reclaim any moral high ground in the aftermath. If she came forward voluntarily, there may still be a path toward redemption, albeit a difficult one. But if she was simply trying to get ahead of a brewing scandal, the backlash could be far more brutal. In the days ahead, Phyllis will have to navigate a minefield of damaged relationships, strategic enemies, and emotional fallout. She will need to decide whether to fight tooth and nail to repair her reputation or embrace her outsider status and use it to her advantage. Either way, her confession has set off a chain reaction that cannot be stopped. This is a turning point for Phyllis Summers, one that could either mark the beginning of a hard-earned redemption arc or accelerate her descent into even deeper trouble. And in a city like Genoa, where everyone is always playing an angle, the people who claim to support her now may just be waiting for the perfect moment to twist the knife. The only certainty is that Phyllis has once again made herself impossible to ignore, and whether this ends in triumph or tragedy, the fallout from her confession will be felt by every major player in town. Tuesday, August 12, 2025. As for Kane, what will be his next move now that he's back in Genoa City? There ought to be some more twists and turns with the revamped and recast character, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, August 12, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below.